is Simpiwe, a really cool person. He's a self-taught software developer who discovered his passion for programming at the age of 14. And the journey began with the creation of a website for a school when he was 16. And obviously that achievement earned him recognition from the Southern Korea newspaper. And this early success really sparked an interest in mobile app development, leading to the rapid development of skills in the software engineering field. So at 17, Simpiwe developed can I say, a first mobile application to solve a real world problem experienced at school. Since then, there's been a strong focus on creating innovation or innovative software solutions, particularly, using Java, Kotlin, and Flutter, and obviously Firebase. In addition to programming or to his programming expertise, Simpiwe has a solid background in UI UX and graphic design, enabling a well-rounded approach, in his approach to software engineering. So yeah, with over 8 years of experience in the field, Simpiwe was recognized as one of the top 15 young geeks in 2021. Passionate about continuous learning and innovation, Simpiwe is eager, to contribute a unique blend of technical and creative skills, to projects that make a meaningful impact. Simpiwe, I think I'm going to hand over to you, and you can go for it. Let's add the database. You muted, eh?
In the window.
Cool.
Good evening, everyone. That was a nice intro. Simpiwe Khatewe, as Batanda has mentioned, and I'll be taking you guys through putting Firestore or Firebase within your job track application so that your data is no longer living in your browser, but rather persistent throughout the application, whether anyone else is accessing it, whether you close and come back, your data will always be saved. So I'll get started. I just need to share my screen. Batando, if you can take yours off. Thank you. All right, let's get started. So currently with our Firebase or with our mobile app or this, sorry, I'm used to mobile. So currently with this Angular application, all of our data currently sits within the job service, right? So whenever you make a change, nothing changes or nothing gets saved because we are basically hard coding all of this data within our application. So obviously to solve the problem, what we want to do is to now move to Firestore, which is a NoSQL database where we can save our data. So basically, we also want to see how do we save our data? How do we structure that data? So we need to have a user. Obviously, the user is whoever is logged in. You guys have already done the authentication. So every user has a unique ID. So we'll use that as our unique identifier in our database to save all of the user's specific jobs in the database so that a specific user that logs into the application is the one that sees all their data. Right. So if I can just go to Firebase quickly. Wrong application. Just to show you the UI of Firebase. Okay, so what we did here on Firebase is I enabled Firestore, which is the database, right? So to enable the Firestore database, it will ask you which region you want to have it in, and that's about it. I'm not too sure if you guys actually already did it, mainly for the rules as well, on who can access the applications. I'll go a bit deeper into that as well once we have gone into the code itself. So this is the UI you'll see. This is where all your data lives. These are all the rules that you have. Rules are basically who can access your data, under what certain instructions, can they access data for how long, etc. Then indexing is just a quicker way to, we're not going to get to that, but it's just a quicker way to access specific parts of your data. So I'll go back to the code and we can get started. All right. So the first step that we want to do here today is we want to create a new file called Firebase. This file basically is going to hold all the Firebase instance within our application so that we've got a shared instance rather than having multiple instances. So currently we've got the auth service here. The auth service basically would do the authentication part of it, but instead of the auth directly importing Firebase, we're going to have a Firebase file that will actually hold all of that Firebase information, and then we pass it within these other services. So to get started, under the app folder, which is our root directory here, so after source, in the app folder, I'm going to create a new file, new TypeScript file called Firebase. And yeah, that's where we're going to initialize our app. So firstly, we want to import initialize app. So this is the initialize app function from Firebase. And then we also need the auth. So basically we need to now move everything that was here into Firebase. So we're adding the auth, we're gonna add Firestore, get Firestore, as well as our environment. So we can import our get auth as well. We'll import our get auth, and then we'll import Firestore. So this is now the function that we'll use to actually interact with our Firestore database. And Firestore. Okay, this should be from Firestore. Okay, that's auth Firestore. Sorry, it's get Firestore. All right, and then we're importing our environment, which is the file that we created previously. We're just gonna have that in our Firebase file as well. Environment, and yeah. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to initialize the application. So if you go back to the services, the auth service, we are initializing the application here. And the moment we initialize in this Firebase part, we need to remove that because Firebase only can initialize one time. The moment it gets initialized the second time, it will give you an error to say the Firebase app already exists. So we need to make sure that we've got one shared instance which already initializes the app and passes it out through all the other services. So in the Firebase here, we'll export the constant variable of Firebase app. And that will be equal to initialize app, and that's the environment there. So that's the same line here, but here we're just having a constant variable here. Then we can also do the Firebase auth. And that will be equal to our get auth. And we'll pass in the new constant that we just made of Firebase app. So that requires the Firebase app there. So I said const, I meant to say export the constant variable. And then we want to now add Firestore. Pass in the Firebase app again. Okay, so now we've created a specific one instance that will share our Firebase services throughout all our services. So this particular file, we can now point it within our auth service and start removing other imports that we do not need. So obviously initialize app will no longer be needed because we initialize app within our Firebase app. And then we will not need the environment as well because we initialized the environment that side. So what now we will add is we're going to import Firebase auth. from Firebase. So now what it's going to do is going to import our Firebase auth from here, which is this constant variable that we created right here. So we're just adding the Firebase auth there. And then now what we do here is we're going to remove this app because we do not need that anymore. And then to get the auth, we're already getting the auth here. So we've, like I said, we've removed everything and now put it in one instance or in one file. So we remove this get auth, and now we're gonna just call Firebase auth, what we just, we're gonna put whatever we just imported, which is this Firebase auth. So now it's one shared service. So this should still work exactly the same, just everything is now contained within this Firebase service layer. Okay, now we need to rewrite the job service to actually use Firestore. So if we go to jobs.ts, this now needs to be rewritten to actually work with Firestore. So what we'll start with is we're going to try and add all the different functions that we need from Firestore and then start working on the code itself. Okay, so to get started, we can import. We'll need quite a few functions from Firestore. So we'll need your collection, docs, add docs, etc. I'll try and just copy that, or rather let me type it so that you guys also have a chance to type. So we've got collection. And then we'll just say from Firebase Firestore. Okay, so it's collection. We've got doc. Okay, let's add these like this so that they're separated. Okay, we've got collection, we've got doc, we've got get docs. We also have add docs. We've got update doc. We've got array union. We've got timestamp. And then we've got document data. All of these are specific functions from Firestore that we want to use. I don't know why it's collection not showing. Collection, okay. So these are all the different functions we want to use. And then let's also import our Firestore and Firebase auth methods or constant variables in here as well, so we can use them. So again, we're going to use this from our shared Firestore layer. So we'll import Firestore, and then we'll also import Firebase auth. This will now pick it from Firebase. Then these models will leave as is for now. Then we can continue. Right, so now in the job service, right? We need to now actually set our DB. So we'll just add a new variable here, private DB, and we'll set this to Firestore. That's the constant variable we just initialized here, which is what is here. So it gets the Firestore, and that's the value we are using within this service. Now we need a function. So this function, we have every user that gets their own collection, right? Or their own sub collections. So every user has in the DB, they've got their own sub collections because it's a unique identifier for this particular user that has all their different jobs, which are sub collections under them. So we want to create a function to get all of that. So we'll say private jobs collection. So yeah, jobs collection. Now in here, we're gonna get the unique identifier of the current user. So we'll have a constant variable called UID, and then we'll call Firebase auth. and we're going to get the current user. Remember, it's nullable, and get the UID. So this will now get us the current UID for the current user. So whichever user is logged in, we're going to get the unique identifier there, and then we'll use that unique identifier to save all the different jobs within that user. Now we need obviously also add error handling as well in case a UID is not found. So we can just say that if there's no UID, we want to throw a particular error. So we'll just throw a new error. We'll throw an error. Okay. Can say cannot access. We can't access jobs because we're trying to access the jobs collection, and then we'll say no user is signed in. Cool. So now we've added some error handling, and then what we now need to do is we actually need to return the collection, because when someone calls this job collection, they're expecting to get data, right? So we need to return that collection. So we're going to return the collection, and what the collection will be is we're first going to pass in the Firestore DB that we are looking at, and then the table or path we were looking from, which will be users, because we'll be saving each user and then having each user's unique identifier. So here we'll add UID, and then we want the jobs sub-collection in that UID. So we'll put jobs there. So now it's gonna go to Firebase and then look in the database, look under users, look for this particular user, and then look for the jobs under that user. That's what will be returned under this jobs collection. Then we need another asynchronous function to actually get jobs. Okay, so we'll put in a asynchronous function. We'll call it get jobs, and then that will return promise with the job there. So now for us to get this, we need to add a snapshot. So we'll add a const snapshot. And then here, we want to get the docs. So in Firebase or Firestore, your data is within your documents, right? So we'll say get docs, which is part of the functions that we imported here at the top to get documents. So under our collection, we are getting documents. So getting docs, and then the docs we are looking for is this dot jobs collection. So now we want to actually find the docs for this collection here. So we are finding this collection and we are getting all the documents for that collection. So that's how we start using this function to get all the jobs there. All right. Then I keep forgetting to add semicolons. I don't know if it's important, but yeah. All right. Now we need to obviously get the snapshot. So each Firestore document is a job, right? So when you are getting the docs, that's now like getting the particular data. So if you've got 5 jobs in your collection, each job there is a document. So when we now say we want the docs, each document has a document ID. So we can return the snapshot, and then we want to map and get all the docs which are equated to the ID of that job. So we'll do a snapshot.docs and map. Okay, and then we'll map D for the doc, or you could just say doc. No, it's gonna actually mess up with other wording there. So we'll say doc is equal to this dot the to job. And then we'll put the D, which is our document, get the ID, and then the data. Okay, so now there's a function we need to create, which is to job, which is what's here, which is missing. So this to job function, basically it's a Firestore that gets all the dates. So all the JS dates will come back as timestamps, right? And then we convert them back to a data pipe, and then all these datas to keep all the data comparisons working. So what we'll do is we'll add this function here. It's a private function because we'll only be using it within this file. So we'll do to job. And what this job will require is, if we go back here, we're going to pass in the ID and we're going to pass in the data, the document data. So those are the two parameters that we want this to job to expect, right? So we'll put ID, and an ID would be the string, and then we'll put the data, and the data will be of document data. So type what this returns, d.data or docs.data, returns a type of document data. So that's what will be returned there. So that's what we'll be passing in this function. Okay, and that will be of type job. And then we can go inside and start writing the logic. Okay, so now this is to update, right? So we'll add a constant variable of job updates, and then this will be job update, which is the model that we've got in our models there. Okay, and okay, job update, and then this would be equal to our data. So now we need to get in our data. We're gonna find the collection of job updates, and that's where we will be getting the timestamps and updating this timestamp. So for us to have all of this data saved, we're gonna be saving the status. So as we're saving, it's gonna update under job updates and put a status and put an updated at, because we want to know when this person, or when you updated the job, when you changed the status, etc. So we'll be saving all of that data as well. So we'll say that is equal to our data. And in our data, we'll do the job updates collection. And then job updates collection, and then we start mapping. We'll map the user to any. Okay, so once we have that, so once we have that, what we'll do is, what did I do here? Okay, there we go. Okay, what we'll do here now is actually put in the status and the updated at collection or document data. So this will be our status. So we'll name this our status. This will be u.status. So this comes from this job model that we added here, or job class there. So u.status, and then we want an updated at as well. Updated at, we'll say u.updated at. And then now, obviously, we want a specific particular time date or timestamp. So we'll take this as an instance of timestamp. So that's the timestamp we included up here from Firebase, one of the Firebase functions. And then if not, we'll do a u.updated at, meaning that I shouldn't have auto completed there. u.updated at. And then this will be .to date, so to the current date. Then if not, u.updated at, which is whatever value we get from there. Okay. So that's our job updates, and yeah. Okay, so that's our two job, right? So when we go back up here, we've now filled in our document, getting our ID and passing in the date as well. Then this will convert it to actually add the job updates within our Firestore database. So we need to also add our function to add the jobs. So add doc, which is one of the functions we have here, add doc, line number 6. Add doc, oh, actually, no, my screen. Okay, add doc is a function that allows Firestore to generate a document ID for us. So what it will do, it will actually generate that doc ID for us. So let's add a function for that. It's not too big. Okay, so we'll add another asynchronous function. This will be add job. And then here we'll just pass in the job. So obviously we are adding a job, so we'll pass in a parameter of job, and that will be the job we'll be adding to Firebase or to the Firestore DB. So the promise of job. Okay, now we'll add a constant variable. This will be our document reference. So we'll put docref and have this await and then add doc. This add doc will now expect a collection. So we will do this dot jobs collection. So that's the function we have up here. So it's for us to get the current collection. So we get the collection and then do a comma, and now we start adding the data. Okay, what's that now? Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll add the data will be passing there. So the data would be your company. So it would be company, which would be job.company. And then just for null safety, you could equate it to null as well if it doesn't find anything in the job. And we've got the role as well. So all of these should be part of this particular job. So as you can see, there's company, role, ID, updates, description, etc. So that's basically what I'm mapping it to. So we're getting company, we're passing in the company, the job, the role, the description, and those updates there. So we'll do role, which is job.role. Again, we can equate to null if there's nothing. And then we'll do a job description. Same as this. Have that as nothing. And then we've got job updates. And have that as. So this is the function that would be updating, right? Which would be whenever we do job updates, we need to get the current status or pass in the current status and the updated at time. So with this one, we'll do a job update and then we start mapping again. And then this map will have the U, which is the doc. And then we say that will be equal to, so that will be the job update there. And then that will be equal to the status and the updated add time, which is what we'll be adding there. So we'll do status, which will be equal to the job update, which is u dot status, and then updated at, which is also u dot updated at. Then, so now we've done our document reference. So this will give us a document reference, right? Now, what we want to do is we want to return the job and the document reference ID. So we want that ID from the document reference. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll return in this function. It will return us, the job, and then also return us an ID. ID being the docref.id. So that's what this will return for us. Okay, then now we need another function. I need another function called update job status. So this is for us to update the status of the job, which will update in the collection status of the job you're actually looking at. Okay, cool. So let's move down. Can I move this? All right. So add another asynchronous function, and we'll call this one update job status. Now, update job status, we obviously need the ID of the current job because each job has its own ID and you want to update the status of that particular job and not of all the jobs. So we'll need an ID, we'll need the new status of what you're updating that job to. So those are the two parameters we'll look at adding so that we can actually update our status. So we'll put a job ID parameter that can be a string, and then we'll put the new status, which will be of type job status. Okay, then we'll do a promise with the job, and if not, we'll have it as undefined. Sorry, in here. Okay, now we need to get the current user's ID again. Okay, so how did we do that before? We called our auth and then got the current user and got the ID. So we'll do const again, and we'll call it UID. Then we'll do Firebase auth.get current user and get the UID. Then again, we need to always be aware of times where the UID might not be available. So we need to plan for that. So when if the UID is not there, if UID is not there, we'll just return undefined, which is what we're expecting here as well. So we'll return undefined. Then only if this passes, then we'll add another reference called job ref. This job reference will be the doc. So the document, which will be checking the document from this Firestore again. And then under this Firestore, we're looking under users. Under users, we're looking under the current user's UID. We're looking under the sub-collection of jobs. And then we want the job ID. So that's the job reference or document reference we're capturing or getting there. Then now what we need to do is we need to update the new status without overwriting the array. So we're gonna use array union, which is another function we added here, which will help us with that. So if we go down there, we can do an await again. And then now we're updating, we're no longer adding a doc, we are updating. So this will require a reference, which is the job reference we just created up there. So we'll put the job reference. And then after the job reference, we'll put the job updates. So whatever updates we're now adding there. So we need job updates. And this is of array union. Okay, and then in this array union, we want the status as well as the updated at. So we'll do the status. Status will become new status. And then we need to also update the time it was updated at. So we'll put updated at. And then in updated at, we'll just say new and date. So date will just get the current date or the exact date when this was actually updated. Cool. Okay, then we can close that. And if none of that works, we'll return undefined. All right. So now we've got our functions, right? So let's recap. All of these errors are linting errors because I'm using WebStorm. So we'll also just hide these, which is mainly the reason as well. Okay, so I'll go back and then try and recap on all the different stuff I've said that might have not made sense. Okay, so we've got collections, right? So the collection, which is this part, line number 28, what this does, it basically builds the reference to a path. So if I could show you how it looks, what it would do, it would add the path. So it would say users, and then it would do UID, and then it would do jobs. So this is how it would look in Firebase. So if we go to Firebase, okay, I don't have a current, okay, it's fine, we'll get to that. So basically it will add a collection users, add another one, a sub collection of UID, which will be the current user logged in, then do the last sub collection of jobs. So that's what this particular line of code does. Then you've got get docs. So I think we did get docs. Wait, I don't know. I'm blind now. Okay, so we've got get docs as well. Wherever I used it. I think I'm very blind. There's it. Yes. Okay. Get docs, right? Basically reads every document in that collection. So whichever collection you are getting the docs of, it will read each and every document in that collection and then returns its snapshot. And then what this part does, so this part basically so the document ID is that automated generated ID for the actual document. Then the data is all of those stored variables. So what we do is we will turn each job type to job, which is that function that we created here, so that we can have it have these statuses. Then we've got current user, which self-explanatory, we get the current user of the DB. So we'll come back and then let's just clean up a few stuff. Sorry. Okay. So one thing we also need to do is on our app configs. Where's our app config? Yeah. On our app config, there's all of these. We won't require these because we're already doing all of that here. So this was just a cleanup from all the stuff we changed or what was commented out last week. I think it was last week. It's just a minor cleanup. And then one more thing is because now we added Firebase or Firestore within our JS bundle, right? So Angular's default of 1 megabyte will have an error if we have to make a production build. If we do a production build, it's going to give us a bundle initial exceeded the maximum budget. So because we've added a new module, we need to at least increase the minimum or the maximum budget within our Angular. So we'll come to our angular.json, then scroll down and find this part, which is our budgets. So we do need to increase the budgets. So from 1 megabytes, we can make it 2 megabytes and then put the warning at 1 megabyte. Again, this is because we've just included the Firestore JS bundle. So that Firestore JS bundle is going to increase and hit the maximum limit of 1 megabyte, which won't allow your project to build. Then we've got one more step, which I've already done. So I've already done it. This is under your environment. If you are using your own, you can add different data here so that you can see all your Firestore database or all the data, you can manage it. So to actually get that, I'm not sure if it was shown before, but you can get it under your settings. And that's all the config you'll need to put there. That's just pretty much it there. And then you need to turn on the Firestore DB. I unfortunately didn't show that part, but all that it does is when you try to turn it on, it's going to show you, should you start it in production or in test mode. So depending on how you want to use it, you can start it in test or production. That just determines the rules that it will add, whether your DB is locked or not. Then we've got these rule sets here, which I've already created, right? So now, if you check these rules, if we go back to the first version, what it would do here, it just said that every document, no matter the person's logged in or what, we're allowing the read and write as long as we have not reached the 20th of August. So meaning for a month, anybody, anyone in the world can actually access this database. Obviously, that's not what we want. So what we do here is we only want logged in users to be able to see their files. So here we do a match with the user. So this is our collection, which is our user. And then we want the user's ID, jobs, and the job ID. This now says that within that collection or in that document, we allowing read and write permissions only if the auth is not now, meaning the user has authenticated, and if the auth UID is equal to that user ID that was passed there. So if this user ID matches within the collection, that's the only way we allow them to actually read and write the jobs data there. So that is Firebase there. So let's go back and see. What did I do here on my job? Okay, I don't know. This thing is a bit mad. Let me go back. Oh, sorry. Let's also move this. So obviously we do not need all of this code as well. So we can start removing that. Okay. Let's try it again. It's not finding these docs. You see, live demos are the worst. Okay, let me see. Let's see. Error snapshot.
Do you think maybe if we add and wait for get docs, because it looks like it's a promise maybe.
And I wait for get docs. Yeah, you got it. Yes. Thank you. Okay. And job function. Did I not return something somewhere? Yes, I actually didn't. Okay. So I didn't return the actual job. Okay, so toJob needs to return the actual job itself. I missed that, sorry. Okay, so we're returning the ID. Then we'll have company, which will be the data. So from our data, we'll put company. We've got our role. Role. Job description. And the job updates. Okay. So I don't know, job description can be empty. So you can add that. Okay, that's, I think, also TypeScript stuff. It's nullable. my bad. There we go. Okay, cool. After all that debugging and whatnots, we can open up our page. Okay, so I'm already logged in. I'll just log in again. This part should have already been done. But just to show you that it still works, I remember my password. Okay, so I've signed in. And yeah, this is also an issue. It's going to keep loading forever because we didn't update. We didn't update on the user side or on the UI that if there's nothing loaded from the DB, we show that no available jobs at the moment. But for now, we'll just add a job and then see it show up on the, Okay, wait. Ooh, showing all my things. Okay, so we'll just say something's broken my UI. Let's see. I broke it. Sorry. I think I broke it. So if we go to our Firestore, it added, but there's something broken in the UI. So, okay, let me just explain this part quickly. So as you can see, if I go to the tracker, if I add a job, testing, and save, what it did is it adds the collection. And then that was the first version actually. So it came and created a collection called users. Under this collection, it got my unique identifier, which is the UID of my user, then created the jobs section. Then after that, it created the jobs ID, which is again a random UID, and then created the job description that I added that side. So that's what I'm trying to see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to see where my UI changes broke. Okay, that's it for the demo, I guess. It's no longer working. Tarse Mariki. Hey. Unamona. Okay, here we are. So again, under this particular user, it's added 2 jobs. Still need to update the UI to actually connect to changing the actual company data, job updates, and the role itself. So for now, it only adds the particular job description, which is what's here when you say add job. So that requires the data updates. Just to show again, and if we go back, it immediately updates and adds the collection. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. I mean, we have a bit of time. Do you think maybe we can just try to figure out what's wrong with the UI? That's
Yes,
interesting.
let's do that.
Is it giving any console errors maybe?
Today, where's my browser? Yeah, I think I just saw them. Okay, no, not that, not that, not that.
Empty array with no initial value.
That's here. Okay. This is dashboard.html. Yeah, here comes your stuff now.
Yeah, the Angular stuff.
Yo, yeah.
So it's saying for job debug and more debugging. I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
This is
that's jobs, right? So jobs should be
7427.
uh cannot reduce an empty state.
This
So
one.
maybe let's try this maybe. Where is it complaining? So this line 74, right?
Yeah, this one.
So get latest job update. Oh, so if so for the jobs that we have, there is no initial job update. So it's trying to reduce on something that doesn't even, or that's empty rather.
Uh-huh.
Do you think maybe what we can do, actually what we can do, since when we've loaded the job, its initial state is new, right? I think maybe when we insert it, let's add an initial job update and set that to new.
When it's the first job.
When we're adding it. So if for every job we add, the initial job update should be new.
Is our initial.
Where is it? There should be an add job button somewhere there. Sorry, I mean function.
And
Or save job rather.
the save user, save job.
Yeah. So that gets called.
This gets called add job.
Yeah. Let's let's add, well, let's set the job updates to an array that just has one single job update.
Within here.
Yeah. Then we can just move it to no. Let's the edited job. So this dot edited job. Edited job. The job updates.
No.
Wait, the initial, see where we say this dot jobs, let's say that part is this dot edited jobs.
Say this.
Yeah. This is something we actually forgot when we did the first part. My
Really?
bad for that. Yeah. So it's gonna be, just set it to an array. I'll just say it's an array, and then yeah, and then give it an object and then set updated add to now. And what was the other one?
It's wanted
Give it an object. Yeah. I think it's updated at, and the other one is status, right?
yeah, status and updated at.
Yeah.
Status would be
Oh, sick. It should be this dot editor job dot job updates.
does it have a dot job updates? I don't think so.
It should. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Editor job is job updates. No, it doesn't. It should have actually.
Yeah, it should. It should have a.
Job. Oh, I know why. Because it's already there. I think.
Oh, maybe we want to do it just before the add. Do you see the add at line 39? Maybe.
Make it undefined there.
No, set the job updates there.
Let's try that.
It's gonna be new. Yeah. It's like new the string.
New with this. Oh, the string here.
Yeah. And then I think the other one is updated at. Yeah. That one should be the current date.
Where you going now?
Oh, sick.
What did this do? Oh. Okay, we've got dates.
What is it saying now? Oh, it can't be optional. So maybe let's change the question mark to an exclamation mark. There we go. That looks okay.
Status needs to be.
Oh, it's job status dot new.
Yeah, have to put job status.
Yeah, that looks proper. What did we remove? There was something we removed below add job.
This one.
Yeah, so we want that there because that's gonna clear the edited job so that it stops loading.
So we added that. Okay.
Yeah, this should work now. But it's probably gonna fail for the ones that you've already added, eh? So probably just want to clear those.
Okay, fair enough. Goodness.
I think the best approach maybe for a weekend edit for anyone that's interested is to make it recover from such errors. When the database gets corrupted for some reason, it needs to be able to recover and say it can't load A, B, and C and D or whatever. Yep.
Is there a save button? I don't think we added such.
It should sync it to
Update.
that update status.
Update job status. I don't see it updating, that's why.
On Firestore.
804. Yeah. Oh, because I don't think it even exists. There's it there. Cool. There we go.
So we've been changing the status.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks solid. So what we're gonna do for the next week is to build some AI that's gonna pull out the company, pull out the role, and make that table look really nice.
Yeah. Because yeah.
And it's also gonna write the, what do you call this? what do you call this, the generated cover letter and generated CV, so that those fields can also show up.
Okay. Happy, happy, happy.
Yep, happy times. I think the only thing that's missing, I think just in the interest of time, we can do it. Um, should you call it homework? I don't like homework, but I can say it's homework. Just add another collection to save the user's CV, because the user is able to edit their CV,
Okay.
but that is not persisted. So I think for anyone that's joining us next week, just add that part. But again, like sometime this weekend or next week Monday, we'll share our version of the code base that does that.
Perfect.
Yep, I think we are happy. Do you have any questions, Sam? Is it able to give mic access so that we can just chat, since we have time to actually chat for the first time in 3 weeks? Sam? Okay. You're muted, Sam, if you're talking, eh? Okay. I think Sam might be having technical issues. So yeah, if you have a question, just drop it in the chat, and then we can chat about it. Otherwise, you can raise your hand. Is it possible to raise your hand here? And then I'll be able to unmute you. Yeah. So if you have any question about or about anything that we've done so far, just raise your hand, and we can chat.
Maybe I'm a good teacher. They understand.
Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, I think that's it. I think we're good. All right. Looks like we are good. Awesome. Thanks, Mpiwe. Thanks a lot. This was fun.
Yeah.
This is fun. Live coding is different when you're like
Yes.
coding on your own and all the stuff. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great evening. And yeah, remember, if you have a question, do drop it in the chat. And I believe this week everyone should be getting the AI credits in preparation for next week, as we're going to add the AI part that does all the other background stuff. Yeah, otherwise, I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. I'm stopping the recording now.
Where's my screen now?